The world loves to set rules for men. They serve you a script: doubt yourself, play small, fit in, be easy to manage, be easy to predict, be easy to control. But that's not you. You weren't born to blend in with the crowd. You weren't built to bend at another man's signal. Be a man they can't control. Hook, if others can sway you, own your thoughts, your choices, your schedule. You're buying mediocrity with every yes. You want power. Exile the need for their permission. Every empire starts with a man who refuses to let anyone else hold the keys. Control is cheap currency. Anyone can hand it out: a boss, a critic, a friend. Society will always pressure you to conform, to soften your edges, to step lightly instead of stomping your mark. Don't flinch. You must build your life through discipline, through lion-hearted standards, through absolute ownership of your outcomes. Hook, or obey and survive, is a motto for the weak. Decide and dominate is the code for you. When people try to box you in, you break the walls quietly and let your results do the shouting. Power begins with self-mastery. If you can't control your emotions, someone else will. If you don't own your routines, your time is rented out to someone else's agenda. Get ruthless with your boundaries. Guard your schedule, guard your values, guard your reactions. Hook, don't let a 5-minute mood sabotage a 5-year destiny. You train your body, you train your mind, and you train your circle. Iron sharpens iron, dead wood gets burned. Every time you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to your future. They'll call you stubborn. Good. They'll label you arrogant. Good. They'll say, why can't you just follow the rules? Smile and keep stacking victories. The people that talk loudest have the least receipts. Your focus isn't up for auction. Spend your hours building, not debating. Hook talk is free, execution costs everything. Never explain your mission to those who choose comfort over greatness. Your actions are your announcement. Pressure will come for every man who dares to stand out. Critics, weak men, jealous bystanders. They'll try to test your discipline. Lower your standards with gossip and slow your fire with envy. Don't let a word in. Your life moves in silence and explodes in results. Hook, your grind is not for Instagram, it's for impact. Be so consistent that people have to invent stories to explain your results. Let their noise bounce off your unbreakable mindset. When you're unmanageable, you become a force. You set your pace, you pick your priorities, you sweat for your legacy. You aren't led by comfort, you're led by conviction. It's not about fighting the world, it's about refusing to be enslaved by it. Hook, a man who can't be bent, can't be broken. Make it your daily ritual. Wake up with intention, work with obsession, build with precision. Stack enough days and your life will read like a rebellion against mediocrity. Set your own standards, because a man who borrows the world's definition of success will always be at the mercy of someone else's approval. The game starts when you choose your code and refuse to let anyone rewrite it. Your standards must be higher than the expectations set around you. Why? Because the world wants you predictable, manageable, and compliant. Every day, someone tries to tell you what winning looks like, how you should act, what you should feel, and what kind of legacy you should leave behind. They'll criticize your intent, infect your vision with doubt, and try their best to box you into average. Hook. Control starts with self-definition. Don't outsource your measures to a world addicted to mediocrity. When you set your standards, you change the game. You become the rule maker, not the rule follower. Your daily rituals, your boundaries, your non-negotiables, they're designed by you, reinforced by you, and upgraded by you alone. That means waking up before excuses catch up. That means training both the body and the mind, because real control isn't just about physical power, it's about mental sovereignty. Build out a schedule defined not by what others expect, but by what your mission demands. If your standards make them uncomfortable, that's proof you're moving in the right direction. Hook. Your schedule is your contract with your destiny. Guard it and sign it daily. Ignore the crowd's comfort. Most people seek validation before action, waiting for applause before they commit to the grind. You do the opposite. You act before the world's ready, execute before you're cheered, and set bars that only you strive to clear. The critics will say it's arrogance. It's actually leadership. Build your reputation on results, not consensus. Push further than the common man. Show up earlier, leave later, and bring discipline to your habits until success stops being a surprise and becomes a requirement. Hook, when your standards are visible in your results, you don't need to explain yourself. Personal code is tested under pressure. That's how you know it's real. The tougher the circumstance, the more valuable your code. When pressure hits, weak men crack and conform. Strong men pause, consult their standards, and execute regardless of resistance. Every time life tries to knock you down or distract you, go back to your code. Ask, does this challenge strengthen my standard or threaten it? If it threatens, fortify it. If it strengthens, double down. Hook. Pressure is the currency for higher standards. Spend it daily and invest in your own mastery. Audit your environment. Your standards will be constantly attacked by comfort, distraction, and low-value influences. Clean your circle. If someone pulls you off track, remove them from your proximity. Surround yourself with people who raise the bar, challenge your weaknesses, and model discipline. Every conversation, every interaction is either an investment in your code or a withdrawal against it. Guard your time and protect your mind. Hook. Standards are contagious. Make sure you catch the right ones. Sustain your standards with systems, not just inspiration. Motivation fades, but robust routines keep your standards alive when the energy dips. Put your rituals on autopilot. Meal plans, training times, reading blocks, execution hours. Remove negotiation. You're not debating whether to grind today. It's on the plan, and that's final. Systems are the shield against self-sabotage. Hook. When your standards are systemized, success is automated. Legacy is written by men whose standards never slip. When people talk about you long after you're gone, they'll reference the way you set the bar and never allowed anyone, including yourself, to pull it down. Every accomplishment, every win, every piece of proof is engraved in the stone of your standards. Don't let anyone touch it. Stay unbothered, unmoved, and unbreakable. Your life, your measures. Hook. The world may forget your words, but it will never forget your standards. Master yourself first, because if you don't command your own emotions and habits, somebody else will use them against you, and you'll never see it coming. The man who hasn't learned to control his thoughts, reactions, and routines is open for manipulation. Your discipline starts inside. If your mind wanders, so does your mission. You are a fortress, your boundaries are your walls, and your mind is the gatekeeper. Hook. Weak minds are easy to invade. If you want to be untouchable, build your walls from self-control and reinforce them daily with actions that demand respect. Most people coast through life waiting for circumstance or other people to define their limits, their reactions, even their ambitions. Not you. You run drills in your own nervous system until your default is power, not panic. Audit your daily habits, what earns you focus, what leaks your energy, what patterns pave the road to your goals, and which lead you off the cliff into complacency. Cut ruthlessly. Ability comes from repetition, the right repetition. Hook. Consistency is the sword that slices through chaos. Train your reaction until victory is automatic, not an accident. Emotions are commands, and you must learn to translate them into useful energy, not weakness. That means when anger strikes, you funnel it into laser-sharp productivity, not distraction. When fear surfaces, you turn it into targeted study or preparation, never retreat. When impatience bites, you double down on your most effective protocols. Because real power isn't the absence of emotion. It's the conversion of emotion into momentum. Hook. Most men drown in feeling, but champions use their feelings as fuel. Courage means facing the situations that scare you, not just once, but until you become immune to intimidation. You do hard things on purpose, so every day you're less controllable by others. If something makes you nervous, that's tomorrow's training. If something triggers you, it's added to your process for mastery. Hook. What scares you shapes you. Use discomfort as your compass. It points directly to your next level of self-command. Build your routine so strong, your fallback is always forward progress. When chaos hits, others stall and complain, but your autopilot is the grind you created in the days when life was calm. Your morning launch, your evening review, your training block, your execution hour, those don't bend to circumstance, crowd opinions, or moods. Hook. Enable your environment to demand your best. Remove the options to slack off. Only leave options to level up. Your habits will become your armor. If your day is filled with actions that advance your strength, knowledge, earning power, and impact, you're untouchable because you're always prepared. A man who can command his attention for long periods is rare, and rarity creates respect. Hook. Steel discipline is the ultimate flex. You don't need to argue. Your results will do the talking. Others try to push your buttons, distract you, unsettle you. Ignore them. When criticism comes, go silent and produce. When envy shows up, let it bounce off your progress. When negativity tries to spread, double down on what works and let your success become the antidote. Your mind is locked on your mission. Your spirit is unbreakable. Hook, you're not here to dance to their tune. You're here to design the future. Mastery is not a destination. It's a daily operation. Every time you override impulse with execution, feeling with focus, or distraction with discipline, you make yourself harder to shake, harder to handle, and more equipped to be the leader who sets the tone everywhere he walks. Build the man within so fiercely that no one can tell you how to act, think, or perform. Hook. Control starts inside. Make your spirit ungovernable, and the world will have no choice but to follow the pace you set. Be impossible to distract because distraction is the silent assassin of ambition, and every time you lose focus, you're surrendering control to forces that want you weak. The modern world is designed to fracture your attention, scatter your energy, and rob you of the sustained focus that builds empires. Social media alerts, pointless debates, gossip, drama, entertainment. It's all engineered to keep you reactive instead of proactive. Hook, your attention is your most valuable asset. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. The man who can focus for hours while others can barely focus for minutes owns the future. Start by auditing every input that enters your mind. What are you consuming first thing in the morning? What's the last thing you see before sleep? Every notification, every conversation, every piece of content is either advancing your mission or attacking it. Cut the dead weight. Delete apps that serve no purpose, unfollow accounts that drain your energy, and eliminate conversations that lead nowhere productive. Hook, garbage in, garbage out. If you're feeding your mind with low-value content, you'll produce low-value results. Upgrade your inputs, and your outputs will upgrade automatically. Create sacred blocks of time where you're completely unreachable. Phone on airplane mode, door closed, distractions eliminated, and your full mental firepower aimed at your most important work. This isn't optional, it's operational. The man who can't protect his deep work hours will never build anything significant. 2 hours of distracted effort produces less than 30 minutes of laser focus. Hook depth beats breadth every single time. While others spread their energy thin, you go deep and create value that can't be replicated. Train your mind to dismiss irrelevant stimuli immediately. When someone tries to pull you into drama, you don't engage, you redirect to your priorities. When critics try to bait you into arguments, you don't bite, you build instead. When opportunities, disguised as distractions, present themselves, you evaluate them against your core mission and say no to everything that doesn't directly serve your goals. Hook, every yes to distraction is a no to your destiny. Choose wisely, because your future is built on the choices you make in these moments. Build environments that demand your best focus. Your workspace should be a temple of concentration. Clean, organized, purposeful. Remove anything that doesn't serve your mission. Keep your phone in another room during deep work. Use website blockers during focus sessions. Create physical and digital boundaries that make distraction difficult and concentration easy. Hook, your environment shapes your performance. Design it to win, and winning becomes inevitable. Practice the art of selective ignorance. You don't need to have an opinion on every trending topic. You don't need to respond to every message immediately. You don't need to consume every piece of news or engage with every debate. Most of what the world calls urgent is actually irrelevant to your mission. Hook, ignorance of the irrelevant is intelligence in action. The less you know about things that don't matter, the more you can focus on things that do. Develop the discipline to single task with ruthless efficiency. Multitasking is a myth that weak minds use to justify scattered results. Pick one priority, attack it with complete focus, finish it, then move to the next. This approach builds momentum, creates completion, and trains your brain to go deep instead of wide. Hook, one thing done excellently beats 10 things done adequately. Excellence requires undivided attention. Use pressure and deadlines to sharpen your focus. When time is scarce, distractions become luxuries you can't afford. Set tight deadlines for important work, create accountability systems, and put yourself in situations where focus isn't optional. It's required for survival. Hook, pressure is the enemy of distraction. When the stakes are high, your focus becomes laser sharp naturally. Remember that focus is a skill that compounds over time. Every hour you spend in deep, concentrated work makes the next hour easier. Every distraction you resist makes you stronger. Every time you choose signal over noise, you're building the mental muscle that separates champions from casualties. Hook focus is freedom. The freedom to create, to build, to achieve at levels others can only dream about. Stay unapologetically true, because the world will always try to bend you for its comfort, never for your benefit. Every day you wake up, forces around you want you smaller, blend in, act safe. Silence your instincts, adopt their standards. Reject it. You are not here to fit someone else's mold. You're here to redefine what's possible for yourself. Most people sacrifice their authenticity for approval, trading their power for compliments that fade and conformity that never pays. Hook. Apology is the currency of the weak. Real power comes from radical self-ownership. Own your attitude, your voice, your walk, your goals. Let every word and action be loud proof you refuse to edit yourself for others. The pressure to please is everywhere: family expectations, cultural rules, peer opinions, hostile environments. The world trains men to apologize for their ambition, their drive, even their confidence. Ignore that noise. When you start playing small to be accepted, you shrink your soul. You were built to challenge, not to cheer quietly from the sidelines. It takes courage to be the man who turns down the path that everyone else thinks is safe. The courage to change direction when your gut says go. To speak up when your spirit says say it. To act when logic says wait. Hook approval is a prison, escape it, and you discover your next level. Being unapologetically true means setting boundaries so firm they shock people used to mediocrity. When someone tries to guilt trip you into lowering your standards, you don't argue. You smile, say no, and double your discipline. When critics attack your style, your choices, your mindset, you don't defend, you deliver. Let your results be your argument. Let your character be your shield. The more you live for your approval, the less you need theirs. Hook silences strategy. Your grind speaks clearer than any words. You will lose some relationships along the way. Good. Those were ballast, not wings. Every time you level up, dead weight falls off because it can't handle your altitude. The only people who matter in your journey are those who respect your fire and force you to get hotter, sharper, and more focused. Upgrade your circle, subtract the doubters. Add believers who push you harder than you push yourself. Life is too short to negotiate your values. Set them on stone, not wet sand. Hook if they can't stomach your ambition. Don't let them sit at your table. Refuse to apologize for evolving. Growth looks like arrogance to the stagnant. Confidence looks like danger to the insecure. You are not mean or selfish for setting priorities, protecting your mission, or demanding excellence. You are focused. You're not required to justify the empire you're building, the standards you raise, or the progress you chase. Your vision won't fit their lens, and that's why you must see further than anyone else. Hook unapologetic means unbreakable. The man who never bends never breaks. Every great leader was the crazy one before the world called him genius. Before they praise your results, they will question every move you make. Trust your moves. When critics gather to gossip, you gather evidence with every victory, every transformation, every lesson earned through risk. Let them watch, let them talk, build so big, so bold, that explanation becomes unnecessary. Hook only loud actions, quiet loud doubters. Walk into every room knowing you deserve your spot because you earned it, not because you were invited or accepted. Don't explain your journey, demonstrate it. Don't dilute your dreams. Deliver them. Your brand is authenticity, your legacy is performance, your reputation is consistency. Hook, never trade your truth for approval. Leave a mark that's yours alone. Staying unapologetically true is not about being rude. It's about being resolute. It's having a spine made of standards and a soul wired for impact. When you carve out your own definition of success, you wake up every day hungry to prove it, and every night satisfied that you did. If the world can't handle your fire, they can watch your smoke. Take pressure as proof, because if nobody's trying to control, challenge, or doubt you, you're not making enough noise. Pressure is the world's way of confirming you're onto something big. Weak men run from pressure. Driven men hunt it. They know that resistance is a sign that they're on the right path, that their strength is being measured, and their legacy is being forged with fire. Hook, if the critics aren't loud, your work isn't bold enough. When a challenge emerges, treat it as a notification that you have leveled up, not a warning to slow down. Every empire was built under siege by opinions, envy, competition, and setbacks. Your ability to process and thrive under pressure is your separation from the masses. Some think tough conditions are cause for retreat. You know they're proof of progress. You refine your focus in the furnace. You double your discipline, sharpen your speed, and let adversity sculpt your mindset into something untouchable. Hook. Pressure never breaks you. It sculpts you. If there's sweat on your brow and a target on your back, you're alive, you're present, and you're in the game. Don't shrink from scrutiny. When people try to control you, they'll use every tactic: guilt, gossip, aggression, comparison, even fake hospitality. Recognize their moves, but never react with weakness. Take their doubt and turn it into drive. Channel their resistance into resources. With every jab, stack results. With every block, build workarounds. You don't defend your vision. You deliver it relentlessly until your outcomes stand taller than their objections. Hook, the more pressure you face, the higher you rise, because you refuse to let up when normal men tap out. Welcome high expectations. They mean you're seen as a threat. The world tests the strongest, questions the most ambitious, and doubts the ones who don't know how to quit. Instead of lowering your goals to ease pressure, dial up your strategy. Treat every difficult conversation, competitive push, or roadblock as the next set in your mental workout. Progress comes with pain, and pain brings pride to those who outlast it. Hook, pressure is the invitation to greatness. RSVP, yes, every time. When you hit setbacks or failures, read between the lines. What's being revealed? What needs to strengthen? What can be leveraged? Every mistake is feedback dressed up as hardship. Every closed door is a detour, not a dead end. Pressure's job is to upgrade you, not oust you. Study the pain, extract the lesson, and become harder to stop with each rep. Hook, adversity is an audit. Pass it, and the world has no choice but to recognize your worth. Rearview perspective is a trap. Don't obsess over past resistance. Lean into today's pressure with fresh eyes and aggressive goals. Train yourself physically and mentally for adversity: sunrise workouts, cold showers, tough negotiations, brutal honesty in reviews, and challenges most men dodge. By making pressure your ally, you become immune to the easy way out. Hook. Pressure doesn't make diamonds. It reveals them. When you stay on the edge, your edge stays sharp. Celebrate the weight on your shoulders. Every time pressure comes, say, good, because it's proof you're exactly where you should be, tested, trusted, and evolving. No champion ever grew in comfort or applause. The applause comes later, after the grind, after the stress, after the relentless pursuit that everyone else abandoned. Hook, pressure is a privilege. The world doesn't test the unimportant. Don't be afraid to ask for more pressure, more projects, more responsibility, more reach. If there's tension, you're stretching. If there's resistance, you're growing. Your standards rise with every push. Your legacy multiplies with every challenge accepted and conquered. Let your competitors crumble while you climb. When the world tries to control or limit you, use their opposition as evidence you're becoming legendary. Hook, become the man pressure can't crush, and everyone eventually must respect. Become legendary by staying untouchable. Legends aren't made from easy wins or ordinary habits. They're forged from relentless consistency and untouchable discipline. When people look at your results, they see a wall they can't climb, a pace they can't match, a commitment they can't break. Hook, if you want legendary status, make your standards untouchable. So high, so firm, so relentless that no amount of doubt, distraction, or pressure can reach you. Start with execution. The world can ignore talk, doubt, intention, and gossip about ambition, but they can't overlook discipline. Every day, show up on time. Every project, deliver to the highest standard. Every opportunity, squeeze every ounce of impact. You don't let circumstances, moods, or opinions slow you down. Your output is your argument. Your results are your response. Hook, consistency is your superpower. When others skip days or make excuses, you set streaks so long that explanation becomes unnecessary. Stay untouchable by owning your process. You create habits that run deep, reviewing your wins, dissecting your losses, refining your routines. If a setback appears, you learn faster, adjust your tactics, and double down on execution. Never let the same problem beat you twice. Build a schedule that's bulletproof. Morning, night. Your discipline does not depend on the weather or on anyone's approval. Hook, the man who does the work every day, becomes the man people look up to every year. Protect your reputation by letting your discipline do the talking. You don't engage with every critic. Don't react to every jab. Don't explain every move. The louder people get, the more silent you become until your scoreboard, transformation, or impact silences the room for you. Hook, results are receipts, and receipts shut down every debate. If your legacy is in the numbers, no one can erase it. Build momentum that survives adversity. When losses come, you don't crumble. You become more dangerous. Resilience is your trademark. You bounce higher, move faster, and rebuild smarter every single time. Failures don't dent your story. They harden your legend. Treat setbacks as rep ranges for your character and add weight until breaking becomes impossible. Hook, you're untouchable because your will is unbreakable. Celebrate progress, but never get comfortable. Legends don't retire, they evolve. Once you conquer one mission, raise the bar. Set new records, break old patterns, and always stay hungry for impact. Make improvement a permanent state, not something you chase, but something you embody daily. Hook, growth never finishes, only ordinary men do. Engineer your circle to match your standards. Mediocrity can't live in your environment. Only drive, ambition, and sharpness are allowed. If someone tries to dull your momentum, cut them from your process. If someone brings energy, multiply it with your own. Collaboration becomes rocket fuel among the untouchable. Competition becomes irrelevant because your standards are so high competition struggles to keep pace. Hook, you finish everything you start, and you finish stronger. Make your name a blueprint. When people mention your legacy, let it be a synonym for reliability, professionalism, grit, and vision. Teach others by example. Let your actions build the framework, your habits mark the checkpoints, and your outcomes draw the map. Hook, legends aren't remembered for their opinions. They're remembered for their impact. Finally, move silent, move sharp, and let every year be a level up. You don't need front page validation, public approval, or cheap praise to know you're winning. You need your own standard, your own proof, and your own story. The one that nobody else can write, touch, or control. That's legendary, that's untouchable, and that's the man who leads without ever asking for permission. Be a man they can't control. Build standards so high they echo in every outcome. Move with a mission, talk with receipts, and live with a code written in your own work. The world will try to shrink you, but you're a storm, not a raindrop. Every time you say no to ordinary, you say yes to legendary. Own yourself so absolutely that no one can ever own you.